we come from the womb of a woman. There is no Dr. Frankenstein that can turn a man into a woman or a woman into a man. There's no Dr. Frankenstein that can even attach the penis once it's cut off. It's over.
Absolutely not.
With Lorraine Bobbitt, it was putting the skin back on, sewing the skin back on, but not the actual penis.
Absolutely not. And in celebration, yesterday was International Women's Day. And I find it absolutely amazingly interested that the modern Prometheus, which was later retitled Frankenstein, was written by Mary Shelley in 1815.
Yes.
And
yeah, in the 1800, in 1860, I think 1861.
Yeah, 1818 it was published.
Right.
And she actually wrote a book, a woman, right? Wrote a book describing science, a scientist who actually sought to create life from dead tissue. Now
excuse me. No, it slipped. It wasn't from dead tissue. What the Dr. Frankenstein was doing, he was doing organ transplants. Go back and look at the movie again. It's been several of them. When the grave diggers are bringing the bodies to him, they are still warm. That is one of his demands, is that the body is warm. And what happens is he takes the organs out of those cadavers, and he's creating Frankenstein. Now he can do every organ transplant, including the heart, the brain, everything except for the penis. Frankenstein has remember the lightning rods on his neck. So when electrical storm is going on, he can activate the body like with a defibrillator, start the heart to moving. So he takes him up into the storm, and the electrical storm makes the monster come alive. Now the monster is killing men, women, and children. But soon he grows lonely and he wants a companion. So he comes to Dr. Frankenstein and asks him to give him a woman. But when Dr. Frankenstein creates a woman, she wants Dr. Frankenstein because he has a penis.
Correct.
The monster has no penis, so he jumps on the doctor to kill him because he's envious of the penis. Correct. Go back and look at the story and you'll see it in a whole entirely different way now.
I'm seeing it in a whole different light now.
I am too.
When I make the connection of the soulless and the seedless, because Frankenstein was seedless and soulless, as was the bride of Frankenstein. Hence why she was so drawn to the human doctor. She was naturally drawn to him. I also just read another interesting fact that the very first artificially inseminated babies, or babies that were brought forth by IVF or other man-made strategies, are celebrating 30 years.
Oh, yeah, and the test tube babies, I think they've been out since the 70s, I think 78, to be exact. And do you know, I met some of the test tube babies. They're grown, and I met one when he was two actually, when they were in their 30s, and they look similar. Did you know they kind of look identical? They don't have their own individual look. Were you guys aware of that?
Yes, it does. I have noticed that. The more modern ones, there's more variations, but the earlier artificial children, it reminds me eerily of Children of the Damned, the Stephen King novel. So I find it very interesting that they are in adulthood, and I'm curious, what are their fertility abilities?
They cannot replicate. That was the whole thing about God's children versus man's children, because man created machines, because God is the only one that can create the replication, the seed or the soul, because God's children are three-dimensional beings. I also studied to be a doctor, a medical doctor. I have a degree in journalism and a degree in law, so I'm very prolific in law and journalism and also medical and so forth. So what I'm going to do is break down to you, man cannot create the seed or the soul. God's children are three-dimensional beings. Like the first of a woman is blood, water, and spirit. That's called a period for us. Blood, water, and spirit. Well, you can't kill a spirit. So you can perform an abortion up to 11 weeks, and it would be, you will not be killing a living soul. Now, the seed attaches to, at the 12th weeks, it attaches to all three of the bodies become one. Blood, water, and spirit, the period. The second body, the physical body, takes 9 months or 36 weeks. The third body, at the 12th week, the soul of the seed attaches to the other two bodies. Now that's God's child, God's children or child, three-dimensional being. Do you understand now?
Yes.
Now, what man creates in the laboratory is basically two-dimensional or one-dimensional. He's either one or two. And let me explain that to you. Like I told you, with us living beings, we have what you call a spirit, blood, water, and spirit. Now, when man is creating in the laboratory, that baby could be a spirit inside of it, but not a seed or a soul of continuation. If it's a drone, it has no seed, soul, or nor spirit in it. It is simply working, it's not organic. It's simply working mechanically. That's where when we talk about the red and the blue pill, the red and blue pill is just referencing God's children. God's children, when you cut us, we bleed red blood. When you crash or destroy a machine, it's going to have blue or black oil, the mechanical ones. Do you see? Yes. And when you're writing with a pen, it's blue and black ink. That's why they say when you write with a red pen, it is referencing the blood, and the death angel cannot cross over the blood. The blood is very phenomenal and very significant. Are you guys aware of that?
Yes, the spirit lives in the blood.
Well, the soul, the seed, everything is in the blood. You see what I'm talking about? On God's children.
Yes.
Everything is fully capable. So this is where the confusion comes, because the doctor knows all this stuff I'm speaking. And they can explain this stuff to people just like I'm explaining it to you guys. Now, you guys get little tidbits of information left out of every conversation that does not connect the dot. And that was done intentionally to keep you plugged in to the programming.